promote authoritarian leaders.
Like, which authoritarian leaders abroad has he stood up against?
Who did Biden just bend the knee to? Mohammed bin Salman, to try to solve the energy crisis he created. So.
Right, but he's not authoritarian. He's a reformist, or Guaido. You know, he's a big fan of Guaido.
Real Democratic actor. Well, he looks like Obama, so
he looks like a little private school kid running for a bus. I don't know why I think of him as that.
That are a threat to our personal rights, to the pursuit of justice, to the rule of law, to the very soul of this country. They look at the mob that stormed the United States Capitol on January 6th. They look at them as patriots. And they see their MAGA failure to stop a peaceful transfer of power after the 2020 election as preparation for the 2022 and 2024 elections.
So this is the threat. This is the threat. Like we thought the threat was going to be that people weren't able to afford basic foodstuffs or to get their kids to school in a rural area where you need a car, or a suburban area. That inequality is at insanely record levels, that millions of people lost their places of residence under the pandemic restrictions and the CARES Act that BlackRock helped design. I mean, the threat that I hear that people discuss in the street has nothing to do with what Biden's addressing. They always go back to January 6th. And when they do so, they cast it as an insurrection and use this language that always has legal consequences in order to cast this murky group of people that Biden really refuses to define in a state of legal exception, so that essentially the security state can expand, surveil them as it did Muslim Americans during the war on terror. And we see the manufacturing of terror plots, of right-wing terror plots, taking place as the FBI did to Muslim Americans during the war on terror. I mean, there were even Muslim American leaders who were literally put on trial in federal courts for the things they said in public and accused of terrorism. So we're just shifting the massive security apparatus that was built up during the war on terror onto people who were supportive of the Stop the Steal rally and who denied that election and may deny future election results. So do I think they were insurrectionists? No, I was there. I witnessed it. It was a low IQ riot. It was idiotic. I mean, and in many cases, repulsive. But it was not an insurrection. Sweatshirt. They're fighting for a lousy cause. They were being duped by Trump into it. And then he went home and just turned on the TV while they all got arrested. And beyond that, it was a security state trap. There was a stand down order. It was obvious. There were no police there. There was an armored vehicle out front, and a bunch of guys were sitting on top of it out front of the U.S. Capitol. A bunch of guys were sitting on top of it smoking a blunt. That's what happens when there's a stand down order. I mean, Muriel Bowser actually told the National Guard not to get anywhere near it. And I waited around watching Ashley Babbitt get shot by one of the few cops inside, watching her dead body come out, and waited hours until riot police finally arrived. Within 2 hours, they had dispersed the entire crowd. Everyone was gone. They all just went home. And that was it. And we haven't heard the end of it, because this is not just about democracy. It's about expanding the security state. What was the first thing that was done as a result of January 6th? A massive expansion of the Capitol Police budget, making the Capitol Police a national agency. And if you actually know the area around Capitol Hill like I do, much of what the Capitol Police does is harass poor people. There's a lot of homeless people around there, a lot of poor people. It's an area that, layers affluence on top of extreme poverty. It's the traditional, it actually in the early days of DC as a federal city, it's where the slums were. So the Capitol Police are just kind of this brutal agency, and they were cast as these heroes of democracy. The whole squad voted for that. And this is moving towards another level with the FBI.